Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Hermitcraft. It is episode 700. Wow, what an incredible landmark. Years of making these episodes has brought us to that incredible number, and I couldn't have done it without all of your support over the years. I do always appreciate all the comments that you leave and the wonderful feedback about the Hermitcraft series. It has quite honestly been one of the most amazing experiences to play with a wonderful group of people and have loads of other people enjoy it as well. And I am just so pumped about Hermitcraft in general right now. I'm having a good time on the server because I hit record and then I'm like, wow, 700, what a landmark. Now, when you hit a landmark, often people expect you to do something special and spectacular. And you know, I've done my episodes in the past, we've done stuff with Evil X. And what I've never actually done is a base tour. So we're going to do a base tour in this episode. I always thought it was a little bit silly to do a tour of your own base because that's what the whole series has been about, right? From my perspective. But it's something that people request. And I guess for new people tuning in, it's something they'd like to see. For old people, maybe it's a cool thing, to remember. So currently we are in the Hermitcraft Nether Hub. It is evil and gruesome, and I thought we would start here since I was travelling back from Cub's area. And this is my Nether tunnel that leads to our base. So in this tour, I'm basically going to walk and talk about all the different projects we've done so far on this season, at least in the direct vicinity of my base. And for some of you, you'll know all about them, and for others, hopefully it'll fill in the gaps. Now, ahead of me, I think is the worst project I've done on this season. This is like a boat elevator tunnel, right? So if you're in a boat, it pushes you up, and I mean, if you want to go upwards in a boat, it kind of works, but the whole thing, I hate using it. This is the only way I ever go through this tunnel. I just walk down like this, you know, and I avoid using it altogether. So we've started off with the worst. It can only get better from here, right? So but how about before we get into the base, we talk about this lava nether hub. This is my own miniature hub. As you can see, there is glass holding up the lava. The lava surrounds the entire sides. It was an immense amount of fun to put together, and below me there's actually like 3 different types of glass. You have red, then you have orange, and then you have yellow, and I've never actually thought of anything I wanted to do with these bottom floors, and I have now just discovered that there is that, and that annoys me, and that'll probably take some time to fix. Is there glass underneath it? Something peculiar is happening there, but we shall leave it alone in fear of breaking all of the lava that is correctly positioned. So this cube goes into the base, and then we've got a tunnel that goes to impulses. I've been meaning to replace these faces with impulses for ages, but I've never gotten around to doing that. So maybe I'll do that in just a second. And we're going to go to the witch farm. Yes, that's a wonderful project over there, and I actually need to spend some time AFKing there to get some more sticks. So in this direction, you can go to the desert, you can go to the Enderman farm, that's where this tunnel leads to, and also there's these 2 tunnels as well, the spider farm and the skeleton farm, but I never got skulls for those and add them to the front here, which is what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to indicate where it is you can go to, like the wither skeleton farm, you can get to that way. So anyway, we've got this tunnel over here that supports boats and minecarts together. And there's no minecarts in it, and there's no boat here as well. Well, that's just typical, isn't it? So I'm going to have to walk this one on foot. Luckily, it's not long of a journey. I don't think there's anything of importance back there, but there apparently is a gap. And then we have the witch farm project, which is also a slime farm as well. Do I have my sound on? Can I hear some clicking? Yes, I hear you groaning at me, so the sound is definitely on. So the deal with this project is that you can use a looting sword on it, and we have a system here that you put food into, which dispenses it into a hopper over and over again. I just saw that number change. Yes, it's still working, and this was a bit of an afterthought, so it kind of makes this room ugly, but you can see we have taken the time to decorate it. Over here we have a witch. I forget her name. She's currently hiding it from us, and she's got a little home over here where she can look over the project. Then we have these shulker box loaders that actually load these items into shulker boxes. We have a shulker box for the redstone, shulker box for the glowstone, but none for the sticks, and I need to go and get those because they are fuel for my furnace array, which is back in the base. Over on the opposite side we have all the other types of drops. Apparently some sticks will come through here occasionally as well. That is an insane amount of gunpowder and potions. I now wish I had a use for gunpowder and potions, but the sticks are more than welcome. Hi. Get into my inventory. I think the deal is, once they fill up in the shulker boxes and there's no more room for them, they will then drift over to that side there. But anyway, behind me there is also a slime farm as well, and I'd like to go up above and show you this from a different angle, but I'm not sure right now how to get there. There's also this, man, as I come over here, I'm forgetting about all the projects that we've done. So we've got a bone meal farm as well. This uses these slime blocks sweeping back and forth from the glass underneath them to harvest the flowers and the seeds that come out of this thing. It's probably going to require some bone meal in there, which I don't have to hand. Although there is this. This will probably turn it on, right? Alright, in goes the bone meal, and immediately it starts to work. The redstone for this project was really fun. I'm remembering it all now. So down below there is like a splitter. So the bone meal goes through the hoppers, and then it can go off into 4 different directions using a lot of hoppers. So over here we kind of track the stuff coming through the hoppers, and then we unpower this redstone and it splits it off, and they all go off into each of these different dispensers. Apparently there is actually tons of this stuff already here, so we never actually needed to put any extra in, but that's okay. Down below you can see some of the redstone that activates these droppers, and that'll happen after the machine gets to the one end. So there's like a little detection system at the top there that can send a signal down to the thing below, and that's what it does. It just sits here going back and forth, and it may not be the fastest or the most efficient, but it was just a really fun way to do it with a flying machine, which I really enjoyed. So anyway, we're going to turn that off, and I'm going to try and find a way to show you more of this slime farm. Now, this beacon shouldn't be here. It's actually slowing the rates of the farm below it, which is currently turned off. You can see this thing has a floor of dispensers, which you can activate with some observers that run either side. So you can turn off the water that's currently covering up all of this platform, and that then means when it's not covered up that the slimes will get attracted to the iron golems over there, and then they'll get, you know, tricked into falling into some water that pushes them into lava. That's how the slime farm there works. It also has an XP option that we'll look in a moment. So if I were to remove this, the farm would technically run a little more efficient. But what we're going to do is jump up into the sky. We're going to have to go real high here and fly all the way around, because there is a massive perimeter. And do you know what? At night time, it's so much easier to see because it's all lit up. We have chopped down, I think, all of the trees on the inside of this. We have plastered the land with torches, and then we've put down some slabs as well as lighting up the caves. So this is a massive perimeter that prevents mobs from spawning near to our witch farm, or better yet, in range of where I stand AFK down the bottom. So it kind of looks like this farm isn't working, and it should be working. I think I left it on. Maybe I turned it off. Oh no, with all of them on that side, I guess that suggests that I turned it off. But basically, these machines fly back and forth over, and they knock the witches into a water stream that's just underneath that takes it to the drop chute that drops them all the way down to the bottom, where they'll have 1 heart of health because they've taken full damage. Man, this project was insane, and this area is super cool. And do you know what? I kind of feel like it would be a really nice idea to come back here and actually decorate this building, because it's just the bare bones essentials, right? And it's not particularly attractive. These stone bricks here, they actually represent a tunnel for the slimes to go through. So let's go grab these slabs so we can just repair the hole that I made right there. This will break the slimes down into their lowest parts. So it'll kill the larger ones, but the smallest ones make their way down to the bottom, and then they climb up these ladders, and then they go through a little tube that sends them over into the witch farm. So when you're standing here and you're killing the witches, the slimes can come across through here and drop down into the same area. So you can get slime balls out of this as well, and a little bit more XP. But the reality is, this isn't terribly well designed. It takes a lot of time for the slimes to get over there, and they're going to be sharing the mob cap with the witches. So it was a really cool project. It could have been executed a little better, I believe. But that is the witch farm, the slime farm, and the flower farm. It's 3 things all in one. And let's head back to our base now. No fighting in the war room, peeps. I love that joke. That's a classic. But this place right here is the map room. I thought it would be a good idea to start here just to talk about the scale of this project, because when we first came over here, this was just a mycelium island, and I wish I'd have kept a map of that thing with all the mycelium on it as well, because we first made this map before we started the Biomes project, of which you can start to see here as parts around this volcano start to change. And when we first came to the island, we settled down at the very top where we built our first project, which was the sheep farm, and I'm still yet to decorate that. In fact, that's something I really want to crack on and do soon. I've had a lot of inspiration recently for the projects around the base, and that is something I would actually really like to get on top of. But yes, we settled up there, and then we started talking about our plans for building the volcano and putting a base inside of it, and from there many things have come. As you can see, there's all these interesting corridors. I'm starting to talk now as if you know nothing about this place, right? Whereas a lot of you watching, I know you know that. And if you don't know the deal with this thing, it's an elevator design that I can never get to work in that spot. Yet in these other ones, it works absolutely fine. As you can see, it pushes us up to the top here, which is really fantastic. So when we started this area, this was the first floor that we built, this one that I'm standing on right here. There wasn't this ring around the top, there wasn't all this darkness from the volcano, and there certainly weren't giant parrots hanging out in my base. But we started off with a storage system, and I really like these ones, but over time I think I've learned that using shulker boxes is the best way to do storage. So this type of storage requires you to have every single slot inside a chest filled up, and then it will put those items into that chest by running them through hoppers at the back. Now you can see that I've taken an approach to not go over the top and organise these neatly and orderly, and I think that was a good idea because it would have taken a lot of time to organise these neatly, and it hasn't really been a hindrance to find what I need, because on the front here we have these, and classic pun, yeah, I was about to say these are all puns actually, building blocks, well maybe not all of them. A fine day to die, I'm a rapper, get it, ice cube, because there's an ice cube there, jeez. Drinks, the end, question mark. Maybe I haven't renamed all of them. Tags free. Well, that goes back to some NHO drama. Wow. Twisting, turning through the never. Awesome. Yeah, when the world download is available for you after the season is over, I mean, there's going to be so many cool things to go and see, right? I hope you all enjoy having a look at what's written on each of these items. But anyway, we can go and have a look at what's behind it. And before we do, this little memento thing right here is from when I went raiding a bunch of end cities and got tons and tons of loot. And I thought I'd just like to display that. You know, it's something I don't normally do. And I'm happy that I did that. It's always cool to see that there. Yep, some more diamond armor. Armor stands displaying. Pretty cool. Anyway, this is the back of the storage system. As you can see, it is a crazy amount of redstone. And it actually has like a pipeline that comes from somewhere else hooking into it. So can you see what I'm pointing at here? That's a ring of hoppers that basically goes around the entire base, because we built the last part of the storage system first of all. So how about we walk around in this direction? I think it will be roughly in the order that we built the stuff actually as well. In this corner over here we have a fishing farm. As you can see, there it is, classic fishing farm design. We have this project, which was to collect the books from the fishing farm and then put them into these different categorized places. There's like a gap up there. I'm surprised I haven't filled that gap in. You can see what's behind it. So yes, this will contain tons of efficiency books. And there's even some redstone back there, so when a chest is full, it will actually light up the whole way. And I spent actually a lot of time fishing and ordering these books, and you can see I've got quite a few of them, but after a while I just lost interest. My plan was by the end of the season to light up all of these different redstone lamps, but to be fair, it got a bit tedious. In the middle here we have an enchanting table. There is some endermites hanging out down below. They've been renamed so they won't despawn. Apparently I put a bunch of anvils in the corner. I literally don't remember doing that. And these buttons right here, they were going to control something, and I don't think I ever actually built those parts, which explains why there's some cobblestone on display here. That obviously looks quite odd, whereas the rest of the room has been built up. But anyway, over here, some of the better items get fished out and put into these chests, like leather and name tags and bones, things that are really useful. And then everything else gets put over here. And when you decided that you've had enough of all of these items that you've been fishing through, it will dispense them into the fire in a fun way. We should see some items come around through that water stream, and there you go, they'll start dropping down into the fire. So I thought I'd get a little bit creative with how we dispose of those items. Anyway, on my right is another part of the storage area. So remember how there is a chain of hoppers coming through here? That actually goes through the entirety of these two systems. I thought wouldn't it be a good idea to store certain types of coloured items in chests in bulk and then have a system to let you know how many of those you have? Now we have a crazy amount of wool from our wool farm, which I kind of talked about earlier, the sheep farm I called it. And that stuff from the sheep farm actually gets automatically piped all the way over here into this part of the system. And if ever it were to fill up, those items would then overflow into the storage system over there. But there's plenty of storage, and I don't think it will actually do that. If we open this door and just jump around a little bit back here, we should be able to see a bit more of what is going on here. There you go. So crazy amounts of chests filled up with different colours of wool. The hermits, if any of you happen to be watching, or if ever they talk about needing wool, are more than welcome to just come over here and take what they need, because there's such a large amount. This was a really great project. I'd love to see this wool get used a little bit more. I'm not much of a colourful builder or someone to build the kind of things I think wool invites you to do, which is very creative and playful builds, and having a supply like this is good for any player in survival, right? So that's what this thing here is. There's also like a secret little escape if you want to fly out into that area, and then after a while it should go back up, right? Please don't be broken, redstone. It's good, it's good. I was worried for a second there. So we then have the same layout again over on this side, and this time it's for dyes. Now some dyes are being automatically farmed, or better yet, maybe just one dye, which is the ink sac. So somewhere else on the server we have an ink farm, you'll get to see that, and it sends the ink automatically over to here. And then there's storage for other dyes as well, although I never really got to grips with this. My plan was always to try and keep them all filled up, so whenever you need dyes they're all here, but I never put in the time to actually do that. So a couple of these have a fair amount, but most of them are empty. So it was a cool idea, it was worth the execution, and I think it's a project for a different type of player. If you use dyes a lot, that is a good use of your time. So we shall just stick our head into this area a little bit. I think we've got a machine over here that will help you turn concrete powder into concrete clay. Did that make any sense? No. Hardened concrete. What do they even call it? Jeez, you know what I mean? You know what I mean, don't you? Leave X alone. If you go in this direction, it will take you to an iron golem farm. That's what we're going to come back and look at later on. So it goes all the way down there. And then here we've actually got an elevator system to take you up and down between the floors, but we're not going to use that right now. So getting back to the storage system, we have another mass shulker storage system just over here. What this system does is it allows you to put shulker boxes in at the top, and then the system will take the items coming through it and pack them into shulker boxes. So all of these have just been filled to the brim with one type of item, and you can see the code here for all the different type of items, and then you can see where I ran out and didn't bother to do any more. Yeah, because I built too many of these things, right? Over here there are some other items as well. I think I planned on hooking up mob farms to this thing, but I never actually did that. Although apparently I have a full chest of gunpowder. That's fantastic, but not beef yet. And some bones. That's cool. That's cool. You can kind of see the same stuff from around the back here. You can see all the redstone. This little room back here is very, stone bricky and not particularly special, but it allows you to go around and look at everything, and it kind of tidies everything up. It's a nice tidy looking room. On the side here you'll see an item elevator. So again, talking about how there's a loop of items, that item elevator, those items come from the end of this system. So they go over there, they go up, they go across all the way through all of this, and they go around into those two systems, and they make their way around to there. Jeez, words, it's difficult. Now this is my little bedroom just over here. You can see we've got something interesting, a view of some fire and magma blocks. We've got a record collection, jukebox stereo system, and I've got the wither above my bed. It is very cozy and humble in here. I really like how that one turned out. Now what we have here is a storage system very much the same as that one over there, but designed specifically for shulkers, because on this server what I like to do is store the most essential of items inside these shulkers. But over time I think I've learned that it's probably best just to store all your materials in shulker boxes, and also with a client-side mod like the one that we have. This is how I'm going to store stuff in the future now. Just put all the items I need into shulker boxes, put them into a chest, and be able to see everything that's going on. So that massive chain of items getting sorted, it starts right here. You can put items into this chest or into this hopper, and then it goes through just like that system over there. So when you put these shulkers in front of it, which is what it's for, you have to make sure that all the slots in these chests are filled up, which I generally do. I always leave them filled up. So you place your shulker boxes like this, and then it just runs through all of the items. Next to that, we have this furnace array, which runs off of sticks. They come from the witch farm, which I showed you earlier. You put your items to get cooked in this chest over here. The minecart comes out, it goes all the way around, and it goes over there and then back again. And that, I think, smelts up something like, is it 24 items at a time? So it's pretty fast. If we go around the back here, you'll see it's got some really complicated redstone going on, because what you do over here is you put a shulker box full of sticks into it. And then that gets sent around here, and then there's some redstone logic that can say, hey, we need to, drain all of the sticks out of this shulker box that we're placing down, but then we need to get the shulker box back as well. There's also a little item elevator to take the items up here, and this is where the sticks would run through. And if we click on enough of them, we might start to see some more sticks, but the reality is I've really been running low. No, it looks like we're sort of out of sticks going most of the way around. There you go, we got some sticks in this spot. And then at the back here, you can see the other side of those rails, and you can see where the minecart is down here. So you put items into the chest, it makes its way over here. There's some logic to make sure it gets loaded up a fair bit before it goes up top, and that's kind of the business that's going on right there. There is another thing I want to show you in this back area as well, and I'm just looking for the best way to jump over there, and I think we found it. This is the redstone for the shulker sorting system, and I've also got some animals over here for making a farm eventually, although apparently I've got one cow and one pig, which ain't too good for breeding. I don't know what happened to the other ones. Oh yeah, it's Will Smith, isn't it? It's Will Smith! And yeah, this is the sorting system. Looks pretty much the same as the last one. Alright, so now we are looking at the top floor of my base, which I think I built after the second, and maybe that part down there got built, and this is split up into 4 different sides. We have the Mob Heads project, the Death Room, we also got the Memento Room, and what was originally a derp and spoon counter, because me and Mumbo had a bet, and Mumbo lost the bet, and then I decided to convert this thing into a tunnel that takes you to the outside area. And off in that direction we can see the sheep farm, so perhaps actually we'll head over to that next, but for right now we're going to turn around and check out each of the things that are on this floor. We'll go in this direction, so this is the Mementos Room, and I feel like I haven't made a memento in a while. We need to do some sort of event and have a reason to put something here. So the idea is that cool things happen all the time, and you want to remember the best of them. So we've got little mementos. Now this includes an episode number, like 601 is Evoker Down. 604 was the Iron Challenge that I did with Zelath. That was a huge amount of fun. We did some Ocean Monument raiding with Mumbo. Oh, of course it would be, because of the icon, and that was in episode 606. And these happen quite consistently. Then over time I stopped making these as much, right? Just kind of got into the groove of working on the base. Wow, yeah. Just watching the numbers tick up is kind of crazy. Beheaded, that's when we got the witch farm up and running. An Evil Summer Christmas, oh yeah, I remember it. Shaman the Tangler, Golden Slam. They've actually been pretty frequent, but we haven't done one for like 12 episodes. So maybe I'll stumble across some sort of item that makes sense to put there for our 700 spectacular. Who knows? Who knows what it'll be. So we came up onto this floor from that side. You've seen that already. Over on this side, in the opposite corner, there's a way to go down, and that links up to the minecart up and down system that I actually showed you a moment ago. It was near where the Iron Golem farm is, so hopefully that's giving you some sort of bearings for the base. Now this is the Death Room, a project which we did with Iskau, at least the front of it. He built us this wonderful looking evil skull, and then on the inside we played around with lighting, obviously. Do I have dynamic lighting on? Because we can, yes, we can do some funky stuff if we put on the dynamic lighting, but like this is a very dark and evil room. And the idea was to track each of our deaths on the server. Problem is we no longer put the death counter up there, and I've actually died, I think, maybe once or twice after this, so I forgot all about this project and I didn't keep track of them. But each time I died, we have like an item to represent what happened upon that death. I was tabbed out when flying, I hit the ground and I died. Where's Johnny? Johnny killed me in my own base. Butt kicker and creepers, yeah, these are awesome. I'm a little bit sad that I forgot about this because that was the last one. Why are they all called derp? I can't actually remember what that was, but there was a lot of them for that one. These don't actually represent anything. These are just evil looking people, including Herobrine. Herobrine lives in my base, peeps. You saw it right here. Up there we got a UFO from the Vexprank, and I'm possibly going to take down some of these other flying things. I kind of really like them in the base, but every now and then I look at them and it just makes me think like the prank things are still here. So I'm still umming and ahhing about keeping those. But over here we have the Mops Heads project. Now you saw a witch head earlier on. I'm not sure if you saw, well actually just a second ago we saw Herobrine's head. There was a wither skeleton and an enderman in there. And so on the server, mob heads drop, if you didn't know. It's a thing that we've done. You can get them from my website, xisumavoid.com. And what I wanted to do was put these heads in these little mini biomes that I was going to create inside of my base. Now I am missing a blaze and a magma for this one right here. That's something I definitely need to do. Now this nether fortress has a wither skeleton in, but as you can see the head is moving. And it's sticking its tongue out at me. What a mystery. What on earth is going on right there? Anyway, it leads into a woodland mansion. The idea that you come through a portal you built inside the mansion. There's another moving head of a Vex over here. Hi buddy, how's it going? And then it leads you down to the bottom area, which brings you out into this area which represents lots of different biomes. There's some caving going on. There's a jungle with the parrots and the ocelots, and there's a village. In Mineshaft there's even an area for the end, which we've done very recently. And then through here it goes into an igloo. And then it takes you into these other biomes. A snowy biome, there's a swamp, and finally, the last thing that I did for this project, this little area right here for all the other mob heads that don't have a place to go. Oh, it's such a cool project, and I love how this room at the end here turned out. But that's most of what is linked to the top floor, and what we'll do now is head outside to the sheep farm. You could call it the feet in the air farm. Every time I come over here, I forget that they're all upside down. They're all upside down so they don't become a part of the passive mob cap, because we have a mushroom farm in the middle of our base. So if you rename them with Dinnerbone, they become persistent and they become outside of that cap. In fact, you can rename it with anything, but by calling it Dinnerbone, you flip them upside down. And of course, there's that one sheep right there that hasn't actually been renamed. You are contributing to the mob cap. You are slowing down the rates of my farm. How rude. Jeez. No, I'm only messing around. That was kind of cruel. Anyway, the idea here is that the sheep are going to go in a particular direction over and over again because there are lots of them. They push into each other, and every so often we have water to push them around in the correct direction. Now underneath them there is grass, so they can eat the grass and they can regrow their wool. And all around them, in a very optimum placing, there is grass that can spread to the blocks that they eat from. So they are going to eat from blocks that will get replenished or will regrow rather quickly. You can see a lot of them are getting sort of caught up in this last lane over here. I think that might have something to do with the distance that loads when I am inside that base. It's something I haven't really investigated too much. But anyway, they go around in a circle. That's the main point. And when they go around in a circle, you can stand here AFK with your shears and just leave it here for ages, and lots of sheep will pass by. And of course, below them is some hoppers. Those hoppers will send the items down below. And I'm not sure if we have like access to where it is. Kind of looks like, oh, we got a ladder. Wow, look at that. I left a ladder behind. Wonderful. Those pieces of wall will fall down here, and they'll go down there, and they'll go all the way across to the area that I showed you earlier and get shipped up into the storage system. Man, this base just has such a wonderful vibe and atmosphere about it, doesn't it? Let's go drop down here. This is the second floor. Ah, there's a project I've been meaning to put there for ages. It was something to do in a live stream. It was just going to be a chicken farm, actually. It's kind of pointless to do that now. I forgot that opening was there. Anyway, I talked about that minecart elevator that goes up and down to the top floor to the iron farm tunnel. There it is, its connection again. The idea was for each of these floors to have that sort of interconnectivity. And this right here was made by Mr. Cubfan135. It's the record room that you can come in and hang out and listen to some tunes. In fact, you can listen to several tunes at once because there are 6 jukeboxes in total. Now, I have lots of these records, and that's because we have a record farm, and we'll be getting to that real soon. And also, where you see these droppers, they're full of fireworks. I would like some more fireworks to fly around. So over on this side, we have a tunnel that leads down to a snow farm. Yeah, we will go down here and have a look, actually. This is pretty simple. Basically, there is a couple of snow golems. You can whack it with your shovel, which I don't have on my hotbar at the moment. And then all of the snowballs get picked up and they get put into these chests, which are currently full to the brim full of snowballs and some other junk as well. The decorating of the area was pretty cool. I think the shape was a little bit boring, but This combination of blocks right here looking fantastic, don't you think? So, heading out of here, there's very little actually to see on this floor, because that's the connection up to the floor above. Then we have the war room, or the map room, the place that we started. And then over here we have the drops from the farm down below, which we're going to go check out in just a second. You can see we get tons and tons of leather. I think someone else reorganized these. I don't remember doing that. But we get an insane amount of drops from this thing, because it's running around the clock. And if you remember me commenting about the sheep and the mob cap, this is the farm that I'm talking about. So over here we have a ways to walk through to the other side of the island. We'll be coming back to that very soon, because we've got the farm down below to check out. We've got this floor right here, and then there's like one other project hidden in this area. So let's go check out the farm down below. Let's grab our rockets. You can see it here in the middle. And there is a Vindicator down there that kills all of the mushrooms. I just realised it might be tricky to see them. Did I just hear something activate? No. Well, every so often this farm activates and water will push those mushrooms off, and they will fall down to the bottom here. And down at the very bottom there is an angry Vindicator. Unfortunately, I can't quite see the fella at the moment. Don't try this at home, peeps. This is, I guess, one way we can go and visit Johnny. Did I rename you? No, you are just Johnny. Of course, you have to rename it Johnny to make it attack the mobs. Yes, that's how this game works. Let's go throw an ender pearl up there. I can repair the damages that I just made to our own farm. And those cows are still there. So I was hoping while we're down here we could see the water flush them off. But it happens about every 5 minutes or so. So we're not going to stick around and wait. That is our passive mob farm. The reason it's built at the bottom of the world and it has glass around it is because we don't want to lower the spawn rates, and I'm just wondering if the lava up the top might actually do that. Ah, that lava might be slowing down the spawn rates of this farm. And I looked up and we missed the mushrooms getting pushed off. Typical, typical. Can we see Johnny delivering them some carnage? We almost did. We almost did, but I wasn't nifty enough with my camera work, was I? So, next thing to check out is the third floor, which has some amazing structural design around it. As you can see, there's a lot of play with darkness here, isn't there? Because these spire things sort of tipping down just drift off into the darkness. But this floor, like the ones above it, all have that interconnectivity. So, over in this corner, we have an unfinished area for taking you up and down between the floors. In the opposite corner, there is a finished one. We will get to that first of all. First, we'll get to that in a moment. First of all, what we're going to do is check out the very first farm that we built on this floor. Now you're going to see this universal design with the floor, the ceiling, and these pillars, but then behind them, things are going to transform. They're going to have a very similar shape, but they'll have different block palettes as we take this design and we use it for different types of farms. This is a cocoa bean farm. Pistons push it down from top and then upwards from below, and that causes all of the cocoa beans to pop off. Now I'm not actually going to go and collect them all because, activate the farm and collect them all, because that's a whole bunch of work right now. But yeah, you have to walk around and pick them up manually. No, you don't. There's a water system. I forgot. I'm forgetting how my own farm works. So the water pushes all the cocoa beans into these hoppers over here. I was looking at the hoppers and I'm like, why are there just some of the hoppers? Anyway, that's me barely remembering how my own farms work. Brilliant. Over here we have sugarcane from the sugarcane farm, and we have gunpowder as well, which comes from another farm hidden down below, which we're going to check out after we've checked out the outside area. So again, same sort of build style, same shape, but we change up the materials. We've got this gorgeous mix of green and bone blocks, and I believe I press this button to activate the farm. Yes, and the other one is to turn a timer to automatically activate it on and off. So you can see exactly what's happening right here. We are basically sending out a flying machine to chop off all of the sugarcane. It leaves some glow blocks behind, which aren't actually there, and there is going to be a hopper minecart traveling underneath that'll pick up all of these items as well. A lot of them do land on top of those leaf blocks, but the flying machine will come back across and it will push them down onto the ground below, where this hopper minecart is going to come across and pick everything up. It's pretty fantastic, right? So over in this corner, there is the connection to go up and down, like I talked about before. Got a little minecart elevator thing here, and this, it's just a place to come and pick up some fireworks. Those are scattered all around the place. Now in this corner, again, the same design, except we got sand on the bottom, we got these lovely prismarine blocks on the sides here, and then we have a cactus farm. This is a passive cactus farm, meaning that the cactus will pop off when it tries to grow, it will hit the glass, fall into the water, and there is a collection system somewhere in the middle, I believe. Or is there? That's kind of strange. I think there's a hopper minecart that goes back and forth underneath. Yeah, that sounds about right. And apparently some of my cactus can get caught. So I'm not only am I forgetting about the farms, but I'm also learning they're not as great as I thought they were. Surely that's a mistake. I would have noticed that. Does it happen again, or is it just the one time? If it happens just the one time, it probably means I put one piece of water in the wrong position. Anyway, yeah, that's how that works, and then it does something over here. I forget how this works. I think what you do is you give this fuel, and it automatically smelts the cactus into cactus dye, and then it sends up to the area that I showed you up top. Man, my memory is rather foggy. Now, the last farm that we built on this floor is our Nether Wart farm, and as you can see, we've changed the blocks out for ones similar to the theme. And it looks fantastic. There is a button that you can press down the end. It will push the floor back and forth. All of the nether warts will pop up, and then you have to replant them manually. But they do get collected automatically by hopper minecarts, which will end up putting them into this chest right here. Man, this is a lot of talking I'm doing right now. I'm starting to feel it a little bit. As we walk through here, which I showed you earlier, so you kind of know where it connects up. This is like an entrance inside the volcano. We've got the lava X there, and we have a pathway that goes off to this side where there is a snowy area. The snowy area was never originally going to be here, but False did this amazing prank on us where she built a giant evil X, and it just had to stay. Like, there was no way I could tear this down, right? Because this is such a wonderful build. And so it stays, and now this is the snowy area. Now, the idea on the outside of the volcano was to surround it with custom biomes where we go out and terraform and make our own types of biome. And I actually started off with a very basic one, which is just a regular old desert, although it's not that regular because it's got a river of blood flowing from it, and the river of blood actually comes from that structure over there. And it's got these interesting looking trees, and these were ideas that were submitted to me by the extended Hermitcraft community. You guys, the viewers, we held a competition where people could come on to play.xisumavoid.com, and they could build their own biome types to inspire me and give me ideas for things to build, and I love to go into that world and look at it. So over here we have another portal link. If you remember the Nether hub earlier, there are portals on each side that link to, you know, the 4 different sides around this volcano, and that is one of them right there. And did I just see something? Yeah. Who are you and how did you get there? I literally have no idea why there's a villager there. I thought I was going mad. It's not supposed to be a villager there. There is a village. Did I put villagers in this village? No. The population is 0. And this side right here is different because I was messing around with changing it and I never changed it back. We should change it back because I think that theme looks really cool. Now, part of the custom biome is to make things look interesting. We've got these little gold pits over here with stone spikes coming out of the ground. And then we have our next biome, which is a very dry mesa sort of dried up biome, and you can walk underneath it to get through to the biome after that. So we will do just this. We're going to walk through it. You can see here we've got a storage system for our iron golem farm, which is hidden in this area. And then this is the tunnel that connects to the one that I showed you earlier, if you do remember that. Here we have a place where you can kill the iron golems manually. If you do this, you have a chance of getting an iron golem head. So that's why we set up the system like so. And there is a lot of them in there, and it will take a while to kill them all. In fact, I'm going to leave them alone. So as we walk around here, we come to the third biome, and we will backtrack to this one in just a moment. This biome right here is indeed a swamp with a path going through it. It's very cool. There are actually some renamed mobs hidden underneath some of the trees here, so you will hear some groaning and growling. The clank of skeleton bones and the groaning of zombies is superb. And Wells Knight, my buddy, came over here and built us a wonderful witch hut which looks super creepy in the middle of the swamp. In fact, this place at night time is just superb. And it leads us around to our latest project, which is the black hole. And as you'll see, I haven't really done anything on it since the last episode. So the black hole is actually going to consume a little bit more of the environment around it, and it's going to create like a border between this swamp and the biome that goes over there. And that was originally going to be a giant ice wall. You see how the terrain naturally goes up here? That was actually going to be a giant ice wall, and the entirety of that northern area was going to be full of snow, but we have moved the snow around to be with Evil X now. And over here you can see an opening, and you can see the other side of the iron golem tunnel that I showed you earlier. Yeah, if you're wondering why there's so much dirt everywhere, it's because we had to remove all of the mycelium on this island to stop passive animals spawning out here. One thing I think we might be able to do for a biome is put grass back, because mushrooms don't spawn on grass, and I don't think other passive animals will inside of this biome, so we may see some grassy areas eventually. But this biome right here is our dried up sort of wasteland one, and you know what, I'm just going to take care of this right now, because I keep seeing this, like if I've got my camera account on in the area, I'm like, oh man, I need to go and like tidy this up. So not only is this a tour, you see in Asuma, be productive. We are getting some work done right here, my friends. That is what we are doing. Bam, there we go. Goodbye vines. That was a temporary vine farm if you didn't guess it. And what happened there? Ghost block? Probably a ghost block, knowing my luck. Yes. Anyway, this is where the River of Blood starts. That is kind of directly above where the iron golems I were killing were down below. So you can see where the blood comes from. It comes from the iron golems. And apparently their heads make their way down this river as well. It's pretty gruesome, I know, but it's just some good-hearted fun, really. And then we've got this giant factory. So underneath here, there is actually an iron farm. It's a pretty simple one. There are some villages and whatnot, and there's a reason why you'll see a gap in just a second, and that is because the farm, and I've left that block there, the farm with the villages in it and the doors, they need air going all the way to the sky right here. So that's why there is this trench, and that allows you to see in and see that there is an iron farm, and also see that the middle side of this structure is actually floating in thin air, which is kind of crazy, right? So above this thing, I wanted to make it look interesting and industrial. So if we jump into the sky right here, we can fly a little bit, turn around, you can see the landscaping that's been done on this area, and we'll just whiz around here and you can see maybe some of the details that I put into this thing. Some of them are trying to represent stuff, and most of the time I'm just filling up the space with interesting things. So now we have checked out all of the biomes on the outside. I feel like it's mandatory of me to now fly around the outside here a little bit. You can see we've got beacons set up to give us the effects around the entire inside of the area. There was also a plane crash here as well, which was a little bit unfortunate, I guess. And now there is just one more thing for me to show you, I believe. Do you remember the Cactus Farm? Aha, look, yes, there is a furnace down here that gets filled up with cactus. So behind there somewhere there's probably like a backup. Yep, there you go. Full of cactus. So we have to put the fuel in for it to get cooked, and then it gets sent down this ice path, and it will make its way into the storage system that I also showed you earlier. Now somewhere around here there is a staircase that leads down underground. Let's hold on to a torch because it's dark. It drops us down here, and then we're at this skeleton spawner. So I don't know how I'm going to connect this up to my base, but this is one of the last projects that I need to kind of finalize. And it is a creeper farm, a special creeper farm. And actually, I think the best way to show you this is to bring my camera account onto the server. It occurs to me now that it was quite literally the last episode that I showed you this farm, but right now, you can see it in action because there are creepers everywhere. You can see them going up the elevator over here and dropping down on the other side. So let's run through it again quickly. We have cats here scaring the creepers off the platform. Above it we have no particular type of block. We do have some glass blocks, but no other blocks going all the way to the sky, which means down here at the bottom of the world the mob spawning happens a lot faster for these creepers. So they get pushed in the water streams up here, they then fall down, they've taken a lot of damage, and they get killed by this skeleton that is constantly trying to shoot at that golem over there. That means we get gunpowder, it means we get records as well, and this system right here I believe goes over and dispenses the record into lava when we don't need them, and it sends the gunpowder up here. And I actually showed you the chest that it goes to earlier, so let's quickly just stick our head up through this place. You can see that it goes around the corner, and there's where the sugarcane comes from that farm, and the two of those things get delivered over here. Alright, and it leaves this area as a bit of a mess. So that's why I need to come down here and turn this into a proper room. Theme it, design something really cool to look at when you come down here, and a way to collect the gunpowder. Well, the gunpowder gets moved up automatically, but at least the record discs, you can see some of the gunpowder getting moved up right there. And that is, my friends, pretty much everything there is to see in the base. Now there is a few more behind the scenes tidbits like water streams, redstone contraptions, and maybe I missed one or two other things, but I think we have pretty much covered the most of the base in detail, and it's made me realize how much time I put into this and how much of an enormous and really fun project it is, and yet how much we got to do on the outside as well. There's loads more to be done here, so it's going to be super exciting for the rest of the season. But as you know, that is it, the end of episode 700. We have done a base tour for the very first time, and it was pretty good. I think I can see why people might enjoy this, especially, of course, if you don't know about all the different projects in the base. So that is it from me. Thank you for watching this episode, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye!